The United States of America is hosting the biggest sporting event on Earth. 60,000 fans pack their stadiums. The country that invented the Super Bowl, the World Series, and March Madness is finally all in on football. And the one team that cannot afford to disappoint any of them is the one team that just lost to Turkey in stoppage time with 9 reserve players on the pitch. This is the most complicated sports situation in America right now, and almost nobody is explaining it correctly. The U.S. men's national team scored 8 goals in the group stage, the most produced by the men's national team at any single World Cup. They won the group. They beat Paraguay 4-1 and Australia 2-0. By any statistical measure, this is the best group stage performance in USMNT history. The country should be celebrating, and they mostly are. ABC News. But here is the problem that sits underneath all of it. The U.S. lost 3-2 to Turkey in their final group match, with Turkey's winner coming on the final kick of the game in stoppage time. It was a reserve lineup. The result meant nothing for qualification. Pochettino managed the game sensibly to protect key players for the knockouts. Every rational analysis says this was correct management. CBS News. And yet, the moment that goal went in and the stadium fell quiet, something shifted. Because this is not just a football tournament for the United States. This is an audition. An entire country trying to convince itself and the world that it belongs at the top table of global football. And losing to Turkey in stoppage time with 9 reserves is not the image anyone wanted going into the knockout stage. How far the U.S. can advance may hinge entirely on Christian Pulisic's playmaking ability. Pulisic is the only American player with the individual quality to change a knockout match by himself. He entered against Turkey as a substitute after missing time with a calf injury, and within minutes was hitting the post, forcing saves, and making the stadium roar. He is the difference between the U.S. being a dangerous knockout team and the U.S. being a well-organized group stage side that goes home in the round of 32. NBC News. The pressure on Pulisic is unlike anything any American footballer has faced before. He is playing in his own country, in stadiums packed with people who have waited their entire lives to watch a World Cup on home soil. He carries the weight of a nation's football identity in a way that is completely unfair to one individual player. The only other times the USMNT had won 2 matches in a single World Cup tournament were in 1930 and 2002. Think about what that means. The United States of America, one of the most powerful sporting nations on Earth, has only won 2 games at a World Cup twice in nearly a century of trying. The expectations being placed on this team right now exist in complete contrast to the historical reality of American football. ABC News. The knockout round is a completely different challenge. Bosnia and Herzegovina in the round of 32 is not Paraguay or Australia. They are a physical European side that will defend deep and make the game ugly and wait. Exactly the kind of opponent that requires exactly the kind of individual moment Pulisic provides. If Pulisic is 90% fit, the U.S. might find a way. If he is not, Bosnia will absorb everything the Americans throw at them and counterattack through the spaces the U.S. always leave at the back. Turkey exploited the USMNT's defensive weaknesses throughout the Turkey game. The stoppage time winner came by exploiting the same defensive issue that has been a glaring weakness all tournament. That defensive fragility does not disappear in the knockout rounds. It gets exploited by better opponents with more time to study it. Yahoo Sports. There is also the crowd factor. The U.S. will have overwhelming home support in every match they play. That is genuinely an advantage in group stage football, where emotion fuels energy. In knockout football, the crowd can also become a source of anxiety. When the U.S. are drawing with 15 minutes to go and the crowd holds its breath, the players feel that. The difference between a crowd that gives you energy and a crowd that transfers its anxiety to you is paper thin. What happens next will define American football for a generation. Not just the result against Bosnia, the entire tournament. How far this team goes in this World Cup on home soil will shape whether the millions of casual American fans who tuned in for the first time stay or leave. Whether the MLS grows or stagnates, whether the next generation of American kids grows up in a football country or goes back to basketball and baseball. That is the real pressure on this team. Not the scoreline, not the ranking. The future of a sport in the world's most powerful sporting nation. Win and football in America changes forever. Lose early and the window closes for another generation. The game hasn't changed. You have. Welcome to FIFASect.